What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Veteran Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Jones. If you're new here, this podcast is all about continuing the mission after military service. We bring on veterans, entrepreneurs, first responders, and people who are making a real difference in the veterans community. Today's guest has an incredible story and an incredible life. She serves as a military police soldier, made up to E4 specialist in the Mississippi Army National Guard. She worked in law enforcement, became the first female K-9 handler and first female patrol supervisor in her department's history, was hired on with the ATF, and she has built a successful K-9 training business and is now pursuing another chapter in the military as an officer candidate in the Louisiana Army National Guard. But today isn't just about her journey. It's about a mission that's bigger than any one person. It's a mission that's saving exceptional dogs and while helping veterans heal. Brooke, welcome to the show.
Hello. Nice to see you again.
Yes, for those that don't know, me and Brooke have known each other for a long time, since 2016 at a DUI instructor school at Camp Shelby. That was not very fun, to say the least.
We got through it.
Yeah, successfully. I'd love to go back and pull that picture up and see how many guys are still doing it compared to now. I always look at like old pictures of police world. I'm like, that guy don't do it no more. That guy don't do it no more. That guy was arrested.
No, turnover is a real thing.
Yeah, well, let's get started all the way at the beginning. What made you enlist and what made you go the military police route?
So I joined the Army when I was 17. I have a law enforcement military background, like my family. My dad was in the Navy. My uncle was a military police officer in the big Army. So whenever I got 17, I didn't really know what to do. Some people were going to college. Some people were, staying around the house. I knew I wanted to do something. I just didn't really know what. So luckily, a lot of my friends were joining the Guard, and they had that whole GRAP thing at the time where you got $2,000 if you got somebody in. Yeah. It's like Guard recruiting and retention program or something. Anyways, I did that, and that's kind of how it started. That's how the snowball started to go down the hill. I
got 3 people in while I was in RSP. They gave me a speaker.
Yeah.
They didn't give me no $1,000, $2,000.
Yeah. I got $2,000 a pop, and I actually got the most in the state. I
would have got everybody in.
They gave me a plaque and everything.
If I would get $2,000 a pop, I would have got everybody and their brother in. But I got 3 people in and got a little pill speaker.
Yeah, and the military police it really was kind of like dumb luck, I guess. I was talking to the recruiter, and he was like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I'm 17. I don't have a clue what I want to do. But I was like, let me do something with combat. And in 2008, that was not a thing for females.
That was about as close as you can get back then.
Military police was it. So that's how that decision shaped like the rest of my life.
That's what this episode ain't about me, but it is, like you said, military police. A lot of people don't realize what all they do. And I didn't either. I was in the Guard, didn't know until I transitioned as an officer to the MPs. Yeah. They do some really cool stuff, and they get used probably more than anybody else.
They're a serious multi-tool. Yeah.
I mean, D.C., the border, natural disasters, you name it. The military police are the first to go.
Training operations. I mean, they're got their hands in everything. Yeah,
even when they got deployed, think, when you're military police, you're not going to be in like the combat, but guess who's doing convoy security?
Exactly. When like the funny videos you see of like the Iraqi police learning how to do jumping jacks or something, who do you think's up there teaching them?
Yeah, training them.
Military police.
Man, so you already started out military police, and then you got on at the big city of Horn Lake Police Department. What made you end up going there?
So I joined the Army in 2008, went to Fort Leonard Wood, was OSET, so I stayed there the whole time, graduated as an MP, went to Ole Miss, got a criminal justice degree. Then I was like, all right, so now I've graduated college, now what? And Horn Lake Police Department was the first one to pick me, so that's where we went. That was great. I stayed there for almost 2 years and then moved it over to DeSoto County Sheriff's Department. And that's where things really we were cooking with gas.
Oh, yeah. That's now, I'm sure now it's probably still a pretty big jump just strictly because how big they are and the area that they cover. That's the biggest thing I noticed going from a city to a county is just the massive amount of room you have to travel around and just drive around and patrol.
Yeah, Horn Lake was like 20 square miles or something, and then DeSoto County's like 585, I think.
Even though they have their quadrants, but still, even your quadrant's huge.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's what somebody always tells me about Nesbitt. I'm like, well, where at? Because Nesbitt is such a weird place in DeSoto County. It's like Nesbitt toward Lewisburg, Nesbitt toward Horn Lake, Nesbitt that you would think is technically Hernando. So that's like another thing. Like, if you're DeSoto, you're wherever Nesbitt is, you're probably going to be some part of it.
Exactly. Yeah, you better narrow it down if you say Nesbitt.
Yeah, that's what people tell. Oh, I live in Nesbitt. I'm like, I don't know what that means. You need to tell me a landmark or something.
Yeah.
Well, when you got to DeSoto County, I know like when I knew you at Horn Lake PD, you were all about the DUI stuff and kind of took a different route when you got to the sheriff department.
Well, so the DUI started out because everybody was kind of scared of them. It seemed nobody wanted to mess with a DUI because
it's too much hard work.
Guaranteed going to go to court with that. Guaranteed you're going to have a defense attorney breathing down your neck, ripping apart every line of your narratives. So people just stayed away from them for some reason. I'm just an idiot, and I like challenges.
Yep.
So I decided let's figure out what all this is about. Plus, my boyfriend at the time, he was a police officer for South Haven. We met at Ole Miss, and he was hot to trot for DUI. So, and he's extremely smart. So, I just kind of followed in his footsteps.
I loved it when I did it, but it was definitely, especially when you first start out a lot of court. Then when you get your, if a good reputation is built, then all of a sudden next thing you know, Brooks, the DUI officer in this case, I don't want that one. We're just going to plea.
Exactly. Yeah.
But starting out, every single one of them wants to take you to trial just to see if you even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool how everything's kind of played off each other too. So in the military, you learn that attention to detail and to be resilient and everything. And the DUI world's kind of similar. So you have to be extremely detailed in your narratives.
Exactly.
Every word means something. It's important. That's literally exactly what you learn in the military. So I think it was pretty much a natural transition for me to handle something so challenging. Mm-hmm. Just with my background.
How did the situation kind of take place at DeSoto for you to get into the canine world?
So I transitioned from Horn Lake over to DeSoto. I was hot to trot with the DUIs, and DeSoto pretty much wrote me a blank check. They were like, "You can do whatever you want, be whatever you want to be. They don't like as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing." They really supported you in any way that you wanted them to. So I wanted to go to DRE school. They'd never had a DRE before, so they let me go. Yeah. So we went to Jacksonville, Florida for some of the training. We went to Selma, Alabama for another part of the training. Finally completed it, and I was out there doing DRE evals. I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years. Kind of got tired of it because it's just the same thing over and over again. You're dealing with the same drunks every day. It's all poly drug use, whatever. And I always, back to the very beginning, my uncle was a canine handler for the military police. I always thought it was a really cool gig. And DeSoto had, at the time, like 7 dogs. So you saw them everywhere. They were always out working them. It was just a really interesting, I was just eat up with it. I thought it was really cool. They never had a female before either. So, challenges.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was the process like, I guess? I'm sure like anywhere else, you had to put your name on a list. There was an opening, you interview, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so, first off, you had to be qualified to do it. I can't remember what it was now, but you had to have X amount of years on, you couldn't have gotten in trouble or anything. But once you cleared all the homework, paperwork type stuff, then you could just apply for it. And then once you applied for it, there was a PT test you had to take, and then there was an oral interview. So they just had scenario-based questions, and they would ask you and just they weren't expecting you to give the canine handler response, but they needed some kind of intelligent response to. And then after that, you have a dog school. So that was the first time I'd ever been through any kind of training like that. And my first partner's name was King. He was a Finnish dog, so he had already had a handler previously, and I was a brand new handler. So pretty much King was teaching me.
That definitely helps the experience for sure.
Yeah.
What? How long is dogs? It's like I always, I've had a couple of buddies that went through it, but I never sat down, I guess, question them. But so when you go to dog school, is it like the first few days they're teaching you stuff, and then you kind of do they already have your dog picked out, or is it like you kind of mingle and see which dog? Like, how's that work?
It's all of those things.
All of it, but just a mix?
It just depends. It depends on, is this a brand new handler? Is this a brand new dog? Is this a seasoned handler? Is this a dual purpose dog? Is this a single purpose dog? What are we doing? And so all of that depends. So if you had a dual purpose green dog, so a dog that just came from a kennel somewhere, all it knows how to do is bite, then you're a brand new baby handler. You don't know anything. So if you're both going into a school together, it's going to be probably at least 10 weeks of y'all together, working together. Plus, because the dog's got to learn whatever the odor is going to be that he's going to be on, whether it's explosives or narcotics or whatever. And then you got to learn all your obedience, and then you've got to learn all your patrol work, all the bite sequences and stuff. There's a lot that goes into it. But
Sounds
obviously,
like
it does get a little bit easier if the dog is finished. So if the dog's already had a handler before, it's an easier road sometimes. And then if the handler has already had a dog before, it can be an easier road too. A lot of times you're dealing with bad habits at that point, but typically it's going to be 10 weeks for dual purpose.
What was your dog?
My first dog, King, he was narcotics and apprehension, so he was dual purpose. And then my second dog, TV, he was explosives and tracking, so dual purpose as well.
Wow. What kind of dogs were they?
King, my first dog was a Malaherd, so Malinois German Shepherd.
Oh, wow.
He was like almost 90 pounds. He was a big dude. TV was a straight Malinois.
What do you prefer? Do you think in the working dog world? What do you think is the number one preferred, and maybe why?
Well,
I know you got your German Shepherd crowd because that's what they've always had, and they're so big and scary looking, and the Belgian Malinois is just so athletic and so fast. And
I mean, it just depends on what you're doing. You know, if I'm an SRO in a school and I'm just looking for narcotics all day, then I want the sweet little lab. You know, if I'm out working the interstate, you know, then I might want that dual purpose Malinois that can run somebody down when they run from me on a traffic stop
easily.
You know, so it depends on what you're doing. You know?
So you're not like 100% German Shepherd person or 100% Malinois like you hear everybody always talking about.
No, I mean it's like saying I'm a Porsche guy. That's it.
Even if I'm a 1911 guy. No
even
matter
if I'm
what.
going on a road trip, it's going to be in a Porsche. That doesn't make any sense.
You always hear those type of arguments like I think German Shepherds are the best. And that blah blah blah. I'm like kind of like what you just said. I'm like, well, I can see in different cases here and there, but I do also see on the other hand, it seems like a lot of police departments and maybe in shared law enforcement period is kind of going toward maybe different type of dogs. Just maybe they don't look as aggressive.
Yeah,
like German Shorthair Pointer, Starville PD's on their second one.
GSPs, Springers, Labs, any of those kind of dogs. Because I mean, obviously they're not going to bite.
They're definitely not bite dogs.
There's no apprehension aspect to them, but they're sweet, and they also can double as a therapy dog. You know, for any kind of critical incident you have, you got that dude right there that's more than happy to hang out with you.
Yeah, I just always, same thing with uniforms. You hear a lot of departments, but we don't want to go to the outer carrier and this and that. It's too aggressive looking, too militaristic, and then of course, I've always been on the other aspect of that as the officer. I'm like, man. It should be our safety and comfortability comes first, not how tactical or whatever it looks. I'm like I can see, from a high up standpoint, well, I don't want my guys on the street, scaring people because they look so tactical and they're ready to lock everybody up. But then on the other hand, like you want them comfortable and functional. Yeah. So there's got to be a line somewhere. I always wonder about the dogs, like why is the trend? It seems like you said now you're seeing a lot of labs and GSPs that are coming into the canine world. And like you said, if it's like, specific, like your goal for a canine is just to be smelling like for drugs, and then I guess I could understand then. Yeah. But a lot of times I will always wonder when you see that, like, are they trying to back away from the scary looking dogs? Or, hey, we still got a working dog, but it appears so much nicer.
I don't know if it's so much like the optics. It's more probably whatever the sheriff or chief wants.
Yeah. They're like, well, I guess I guess any dog could be a biter, but you're getting a GSP or a lab.
And also, whatever court system you're in, for example, Mississippi, their laws are a lot more lenient on, if they were to bite somebody or anything. Louisiana, they're fresh violent felonies.
Oh, God.
So, a Malinois is not getting a lot of work down there, where in Mississippi they may.
So, all right, you became a canine handler. Is that where... I don't want to jump ahead too far, but that's where the passion came in for being the dogs and seeing what you can do with a trained dog and training dogs. That's where it all kind of started. Yeah,
I've always just connected with animals. I grew up out in the county, so we always had a bunch of dogs. People would just dump dogs and they'd end up at our house. So I always had a pretty healthy understanding of, what to do and not to do with dogs. But yeah, my first partner, King, he had some issues that we had to work through. And that really taught me kind of the importance of having a partner you can depend on. So that's kind of translated into working with TV. And then I created the Dog School Memphis. It's all obedience. And then the Dog School New Orleans is obedience dogs. And it's kind of spider-webbed out since then.
Yeah, so that's pretty wild. Like you started out like, man, you're there. I'm all about DUIs, and then you start witnessing and seeing firsthand the canine. You're like, that would be really cool. Mm-hmm. And then also now look where it's at.
It's just another huge challenge. It's another hill to climb. So,
what was it like becoming the first female canine handler, and then skipping a little bit ahead, the first female patrol supervisor?
So going into K-9, like before the tryouts and everything, of course, all my ward partners and stuff were like, why are you even doing that? You know that that's not happening, right? Like, and I was like, you know what? They're going to have to tell me no.
You're like, I'm going to be the first.
Yep. Because whenever I tried out, there was two dudes I had to go against. One dude had already been a K-9 handler at a different agency. So he was your shoe-in, right? Mm-hmm. And then there was another dude that was just a total PT stud. So I'm just me. So, like, I passed the PT test, and the seasoned vet handler didn't even pass the PT test. So
wow.
So, yeah, the shoe-in's out of the game. And then the PT stud, whenever we did the oral interview, he didn't have the greatest answers. So, it was little old me was left.
Hey. What do they say? The cream will rise to the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, on paper, hey, this guy's already been a K-9 handler, man. This is just a formality. Mm-hmm. He's gonna be the shoe-in.
Yep. Failed the PT test.
Yeah. Which is wild. That may be one of the reasons why I even thought of that earlier when you first said that. I was like, that's weird, a PT test for a promotion or whatever. But I guess that's one way to eliminate somebody.
Well, and K-9's physically demanding.
Very.
You got to run around out in the woods. You got to pick up your dog over a fence. You've got to do, whatever.
You should be able to at least do a PT test.
Exactly. You need to be able to run 1.5 miles in 15 minutes or whatever it is. It's, it's not crazy challenging, but you can't just sit at the house and eat Cheetos.
Ride around in the car and eat fast food all day.
Yeah, you can't eat all the free food in DeSoto County.
Oh, God. Well, all right, we transitioned from military, college, city police department, municipal, and then county, and then you got transitioned away from DUI into the dog world. What made you go from that, which somebody would think from the outside, hey, she's got it going on, her life's set, she's here, she's doing her thing, she done started a business on the side. What made you take the giant leap and go try to get into federal law enforcement?
So I'd been doing the K-9 thing. It's awesome. It's fun. It's great. But like any other specialized division like that, it wears on you. It's tiring. It's long hours. It's out in the woods forever looking for some dude. It wears on you. So I moved over to patrol. And at that point, I'd kind of earned my stripes, and everybody, the hires up, admin, felt like they could trust me, and so they let me become a patrol supervisor. I had to test for it. Same thing, but it was a little easier road to be the first female supervisor on patrol. They'd had other supervisors in courts and stuff, but I was the first one working the road.
But the real deal supervisor on the streets.
Yeah. And then I did that for a while, and it still was like, it's almost, I don't want to say it's like a PTSD, but it just wears you down. That adrenaline dumps all day, every day. Mm-hmm. You get tired of it. And so I was thinking, man, I'm 32 years old at this point. I was like, there's got to be an easier way to make money than dealing with this.
Yep.
So I thought, well, federal, I can still make an impact. I can still do what I love to do, but maybe at a little bit slower of a speed. We got these big, long investigations going on. Maybe that would be a better fit for me. So that hiring process is like 18 months.
Oh, yeah. I've looked into it several times. Yeah. Well, in my younger days.
18 months just to even get hired by ATF. It was like every test you can think of, physical, mental, psychological, all the things to finally get it. And then it was not like the brochure.
Yeah, a lot of jobs like that, but definitely something like that. I know when I looked into, this is years ago, it was always Border Patrol's first one hiring. Everybody will tell you that, man, you want to get into federal, get your foot in the door, man, go Border Patrol. They're hiring. And I actually applied twice. First time I didn't hear anything. The second time I applied, they actually invited me to like somewhere, it was like in a junior college, like to test for the air marshals. Which I thought would have been cool, but just a missed opportunity of mine. I should have at least showed up and taken the test to see what would happen. But
I think you are better off where you're at now, because that's a lonely life.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, of course, everything happens for a reason.
Air marshals, you're
flying
you're on an
around
airplane,
by yourself, going to city, maybe international, depending on where it's going and if it's coming right back or whatever. But
yeah, when I was with ATF, we actually did like a 3-day training seminar deal with the air marshals at FLETC, and they actually have like 747s out there, and you train with the air marshals.
Oh, wow.
Because they expect you, like, if you're on an airplane, you're backup.
Yeah, you got to do something.
Yeah, so, like, you get to pick their brain a little bit, and I remember one dude was telling us that, like, they go to countries that don't have TSA. So just imagine what those countries are.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so you're not, like, going from, Seattle to L.A. or something. You're going to fucking Haiti or wherever.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I mean. They're definitely, positive and negatives to every job, but being on the road, I guess, for them is in the air.
Yeah.
I always wonder if they get flyer miles. That would be cool.
I bet not.
I'm about to say, I bet it'd be cool if they did. So, all right, that obviously, wasn't what you expected, so it didn't work out. And then now you're living in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And boom, what happened?
Yeah, so I'm down in New Orleans and decided ATF was not the way to be for me. And I was like, well, now what? So for like 2 weeks, I kind of just sat around, looked around, what do I do? And I came back to dogs because that's what I know. That's what I'm good at. That's where I cut my teeth at the sheriff's office with dogs. So I started the Dog School New Orleans. I already had previously created the Dog School Memphis and sold it to a veteran, Tato.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So shout out Dog School New Orleans or Dog School Hernando.
Oh yeah, holding it down in Hernando.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I just started training dogs like off Facebook Marketplace. Literally just posted, you need a dog trained, you got a bad dog, and it blew up from there. We have a facility now down in New Orleans.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we got 6 employees. We're killing it, doing well.
Yeah, I mean, you're here today, and they're still at work. So I know that's a comfortable feeling to get to that point.
Yeah, it's nice to actually have the freedom to chase other dreams, and your mortgage is still being paid.
Yeah, that's very nice. That's what I tell people. I ask, "What's your dream?" I said, "Eventually, I'm just the owner and the founder of the company, and I have people doing things for me."
Yeah.
But as you know, when you first start out, it's you doing everything all day, every day.
Yeah.
Phone never stops.
People say, I want to get into business for myself so I can make my own hours. And I'm like, well, I hope you don't like your birthday or Christmas, Thanksgiving, none of those things. Because for 5 years, I had no holidays, no vacations, no nothing. Because when do people want their dog boarded?
When they go out of town. And when do they mostly go out of town? Holidays, vacation time.
Yeah, you want to go to the beach during the summer, you're going to lose $10,000 if you do it.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. If I, there's no way I'd go to the beach losing that.
Yeah. So now I have the freedom. I can do stuff like that. But it did not come for free.
All right, so military, law enforcement, federal. Now you got the dogs. What's the big change? What now? What do you want to do now?
So when I started the Dog School New Orleans, like I told you, I started on Facebook Marketplace. So it started out of nothing, right? So I'm thinking, for marketing, like how do I make this thing into something that's a competition for other dog training facilities in New Orleans? So I just became best friends with any rescue that would be friends with me. That then walks Louisiana SPCA. So Louisiana SPCA, they're humongous. They do all the dog catcher duties for the city of New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
They're a huge organization. And they wanted to start a prison puppy program. So we teamed up with the Louisiana Correctional Institute for Women, and we trained, when I left it, we had 20 inmates that we had trained to be dog trainers. And we pulled the dogs from the Louisiana SPCA. It's a kill shelter. I started it out, I wanted dogs that had been there 200 days or longer. So we pulled all the ones everybody had forgotten about and put them in the prison, had the females train the dogs. Me and Victoria, my manager down in New Orleans, we taught all the inmates what to do, how to do it, what not to do, all that stuff. We videoed the dogs, all that, and we got all of them adopted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When I left, we had like over 36 dogs adopted.
Is there any typical type of dog or just strictly,
it's all pit mixes.
Pit mixes?
Yeah, that's all. That's mainly what's in the shelter. But I just saw there was this need. I have a friend, Bill Barsh, down in New Orleans. He runs a prison program at the men's prison. Mm-hmm. He's been running it for since the 90s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And there wasn't one at the women's prison. So with his blessing, he kind of taught me what's he doing, why is he doing it. And then I got it going at the women's prison. But I just thought it was important. I've always wanted to do something that had purpose. I go from being a police officer, I'm in the military, I'm doing things that matter. And then when I left ATF, I kind of had a vacuum I needed to fill, because while training somebody's doodle to not eat their socks is important to that person, there's not a lot of service in that, mm-hmm. Maybe I'm being too picky, I don't know. But I thought the prison puppy program was a really great way to fill that need for service. And it pretty much did for the moment.
That's awesome. I've actually talked about that in the podcast before. Like I tell service members and or first responders, just like you, I guess you're both. You experienced both times. Like just because your service ended doesn't mean your purpose ended. You can still have a purpose. You can still refine your purpose an unlimited number of times. You know, I mean, it's not, well, I'm no longer a soldier. What do I do?
Yeah.
You know, like, I've been there, you've been there, like, well, I'm not a cop anymore. Now what?
Yeah.
You know,
well, and too, like, if you're a veteran and you're out of the military and you're just like, I don't know what to do with my hands, just start doing something. And if you start doing something, it'll blossom into something else. You'll find your true north. You just got to keep hunting for it. Because, like, with the prison puppy program, so yeah, I'm pulling pit bulls out of the kill shelters, and I'm having inmates train these dogs just in obedience, and then they're getting adopted out by whoever, you know, like by people. But then that blossomed into me finding Labrador retrievers, German short-haired pointers, Springer Spaniels, all these working line dogs in these shelters. And I pull these dogs out, and I'm like, well, what can we do with these? I've got all this canine knowledge. I've got all this rescue knowledge. How do I marry these ideas? So I just pulled all those kind of working line dogs out and started teaching them detection. Of course, half of them didn't work out because you got to have a very specific temperament and mentality and everything, a drive to be a detection dog. So I call them my duds, and they're sweet dogs. They're awesome, great dogs. They'd be a fabulous service dog or a therapy dog or something, but they just don't have that oomph to be a detection dog. And in comes Warrior's Heart. They saved my little program's life. Because Warrior's Heart, they have a bunch of veterans that they're trying to teach them skills. They're trying to just help them cope, things like that. And so I take all of my dogs that I've pulled from the shelter that I don't specifically have a use for in detection, and they're handed over to Warrior's Heart, where they have veterans that train with them and first responders, and they make them service dogs, therapy dogs, emotional support, or just straight up active pets. So it's fabulous.
So what's a dud for you finds a whole nother purpose.
Exactly.
And can even help a veteran.
Exactly.
That's crazy how it works, like how the world works like that.
Yep.
Like, I have this great dog. For some reason whatsoever, he's not just going to work out to be this specific thing that I need.
Yeah.
But there's still another purpose for him.
Absolutely. Like, there's the Warrior's Heart just came and grabbed two from me, Samson and Nellie. Samson has a ton of drive. He loves to chase the ball. If the ball, he's a black lab, but he looks like he's got some pit in him or something. Like, these are all shelter dogs, so who knows? But he had a ton of drive. That's why we pulled him. But as soon as you throw the tennis ball and it like disappears into the grass, he doesn't care about it anymore. So that's problematic as a detection dog. So he's up at Warrior's Heart, and they're reporting back to me talking about how he's just the greatest mobility dog. He'll just stand there and brace and hold, like, help the veterans. Like, so I'm like, that's the best thing ever.
That's awesome.
It's great. And
what is your when you started doing that now, then that's when you transferred from just a business to a nonprofit as well?
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out a way because obviously it costs money to rescue these dogs, to get them medically cleared. I've had some come to me with heartworms that I'm having to do treatment on. That's not cheap. So my thoughts were to start Canine Comrades, which would just be a pipeline to Warrior's Heart. So I do all the work. I find the dogs in the shelter. I vet them. I bring them to Canine Comrades. And then if they don't make the cut to be a detection dog, then that's when they're sent to Warrior's Heart. And so that's the best way we can do it for right now. Yeah,
that sounds awesome. But how hard is it? I'm just curious myself, and there may be some out there listening, to have a business and a nonprofit alongside of each other.
We're learning it.
Was that hard to figure out at first, or get started and all the paperwork? Yeah,
so I'm in the process of finishing all the paperwork for Canine Comrades, all the 501c3 stuff. But yeah, it's the vibe that I'm getting is they need to be two totally separate things. Yeah, they don't need to be anywhere near each other.
Yeah, different bank accounts.
Absolutely.
Different, because I know with a nonprofit, it has to be, it's fully transparent. Anybody can go look and see where every single dollar goes.
Yep.
So you can't have, some of this money went out and used it for the business, and some of the business money came in and put over here. So
absolutely. Definitely,
I guess have somebody taking care of the books for you.
Yeah, for sure.
What would you say? I'm just curious, have you ever had a dog there's just no help for it? There's just, you don't want to send him to help with the other people. You can't train him.
Luckily, no, I haven't had one of those yet. Because hopefully I would be able to vet that beforehand.
Yeah, be able to, even just your basic interactions with them, something was off.
Yeah. But with the prison puppy program, we did have dogs like that where they were behavior cases. Like they would need to be like a behavioral euthanasia situation because they'd attacked inmates or they'd attacked the corrections officers or something. It was more than could be done in a setting like that. So unfortunately, they're far and few between, but it has happened.
They just come from such a bad background, they just can't break free.
They don't have great genetics to begin with, so you're not working with a full deck of cards anyways, or they're just so traumatized from whatever had happened to them, before they reached us. A lot of times you can combat a lot of the things that are going on, but some of it, especially if you're dealing with not great genetics, you
don't even know what, you can that looks like a pit mix, but who knows what's in it.
Yeah.
Or, the parents probably mixed dogs and they're a mixed dog, and then you don't know what's coming out of it. And like I said, God forbid they're dog fighting growing up or whatever in the world. Just a lot of abuse.
Exactly. Yeah. Behavior traits matter, and especially dogs like that. And even with the prison puppy program, some of those dogs did go on to be service dogs. It was just a few of them. But you got to make sure you've got some impeccable temperament if you're going to say you got a service dog.
No doubt. That's what, I want to get mine trained to be a possible service dog. And I'm like, right now he knows like something's off with me. He'll know this and that, but his temperament to take him out in the public, I'm like, nope. People think I was lying the minute I walked outside and said, this is a service dog, when he's trying to bark and bite the neighbor, or he sees a fly run around and jerking the leash away from me. He's like,
you could get him there though. That's just desensitizing.
Yeah, he's a puppy in his mind, but his body is very well no longer a puppy.
Yeah.
What I guess it just started. I was going to say, what kind of success have you seen so far with the sending the dogs up north? But I guess it's still very, very new.
We just got rolling with it, so we've got 2 that went up there, and they're wanting 3 a month. They want 30 a year, give or take. So we're hoping that we'll be able to fill that order, which right now we will be able to. I'm just pulling labs from shelters or people rehoming them, and I'm vetting them, making sure that everything's going to be cool if they get sent to Warrior's Heart. And then they go up there, and I just wait to hear how everything's going. So far, so good.
Is it some dual training going on? Like you're doing kind of like the basic stuff, and then they're doing a little bit more advanced, or how's that working?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much giving them dogs that are like healthy and sane. and no, like just very, very basic obedience. Like the dog knows how to sit. It's not going to run away.
Just the basic obedience stuff.
Yeah, it's not going to run away from you if you drop the leash. But it's obviously they're moving on into like PTSD, anxiety, and mobility therapy dogs. So that's way more specific, and we're just doing just straight up obedience on the dogs and making sure that they've got good temperaments. So
that's what's kind of crazy. I looked into it. I didn't do a deep dive into it. Obviously, you would know more than me, but it's very different what you get as to like how to register your dogs officially as a service dog, or like what training is actually required. And it's like it's very kind of a gray area. It's like
it is,
as long as it is trained for your condition, and you really, and HIPAA and all that. When you take a dog somewhere, I think legally the only thing they can ask is that a service dog? And is it trained for what you need?
Yeah,
they're basically
only allowed,
all they can ask.
They can only ask the 2 tasks because per ADA, the dog has to be able to complete 2 tasks for you, at least 2. Like it can do 100, but it needs to do at least 2. And you have to tell them what it is. Is it deep pressure therapy and blocking or whatever? Is it diabetic alert and finding an exit? What tasks is this dog doing to assist me? But they can't ever ask you, what's wrong with you? Or nothing like that. So if you don't know your rights with a service dog, because a lot of veterans, they would benefit from an anxiety service dog, and they're not terribly hard to train. But if you don't know what can I have this dog here or there or whatever, you can easily reach out to a dog trainer that knows about service dogs, and they'd be able to guide you, or just look at the ADA's website on guidance, or like everybody else in the world, ask ChatGPT. It'll straighten you out.
AI's taking over the world.
But there is no database. There's no registry. If somebody's trying to get you to pay for something online, it's BS. Like you can get the little ID card if you want to, but you just got your dog a fake ID. Like cool.
Yeah, that's all. I even saw some web like $65.
Yeah,
they'll mail you a certificate and an ID card.
It's just to feel good. Like it doesn't mean anything.
That way you can just show somebody.
Yeah.
And because if you get them, like I said, it's just such a, like almost a gray area when you try to look some of that stuff up. It's like, like I mean, I guess there's some places that are listed as like true places you get a dog from or send them to, but like as just an individual, like I want to get my dog trained.
You can on YouTube train your own dog to be a service dog, and if it was able to do 2 tasks for you that assisted you, then you would have no issues challenging it as much as someone that had a full-blown CNI dog would be able to challenge it. You know, I mean, it's not as complicated as people make it. I guess everyone's expecting like there's got to be some kind of database or a registry, like that's how it's a real service dog. I mean,
but there's not, is there?
Is it? No, not yet.
Not that I found.
I mean, I think something bad will eventually happen. You know, somebody's service dog pit bull will
go crazy on somebody,
some kid's face off, or
then
something.
All of a sudden they can't provide any real.
Yeah, and then maybe that's when they'll rein in the service dog stuff, but they just haven't yet.
Do you think there would be just how simple would it be? Just one national database?
Well, I mean, I've heard rumblings about it. Like they have this thing called AKC, Canine Good Citizen. Mm-hmm. We're evaluators for it in New Orleans, and it's just a 10-step process where it's just all these different things the dog has to do. And if they're able to do these 10 different things, then AKC says, well, they're probably a good citizen. They're not a crappy dog, you know. So I've talked to other service dog trainers, and they think that might be one of the ways that they tell, you know, if this dog's a legit service dog or not. Does it have Canine Good Citizen? So we'll see.
What we kind of talked about it just now, but as you know, obviously the podcast is the Veteran Podcast. What would you say maybe some of the things the soldier or veteran out there or first responder or just anybody really, what the different kind of mental health things that are just everyday stuff that a dog would truly help them by, like PTSD and anxiety and all that type of stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean, just your PTSD, your anxiety. It's been shown that like if you're not having a great day and you go pet a dog, it releases oxytocin and dopamine. You know, and that's a chemical change in your body just from playing with a dog. You know, so it could be something as simple as that. And then not to get dark with it, but if that's like the only thing keeping you alive because you got to keep this thing alive, well, if that's the Band-Aid we got to use for right now, you know, until we can get some more help or something, it is what it is.
I've been in I remember there was a time in my life when I first got my dog, I was going through some dark stuff with my divorce, and I mean, I felt completely alone. All I had was my dog. Yeah,
I mean, if you killed yourself, how long would it take for somebody to feed your dog?
Yeah,
you know,
that's what my brother. Sorry, Justin, if you're watching this, but he's been arrested a couple of times, and he's like, first thing he's worried about is not bailing out. He's like, he's making a phone call, like, man, who's going to go take care of my dog?
Exactly.
He's got a little weenie dog called Winston. He calls him Little Winnie, and he's like, who's going to take care of Winston? I was like, it's just people and their dogs, man. They said, you know, God bless him. He's been in some trouble before, but first phone call he makes isn't, hey man, I need you to come bail me out. It's like, hey, who go take care of my dog?
Grab, yeah.
He's like, I can handle this for a couple of days. I need somebody to go take care of my dog.
Yeah.
It's fun. People don't realize how much, they say man's best friend, but how much it's just insane to me the stuff you can train a dog to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like all the different detection.
Anything, yeah.
I mean, like you said, I think talked before, like they can even be trained for the prisons, like to smell phones. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so crazy.
I actually have a dog. I own one, a standard poodle named Philippe. He's an electronic storage device detecting canine. Yep. Philippe. Yep. And that little dude, he could find a micro SD out in the yard or USB, whatever. He don't care. He'll find it.
That's so
bad news.
What educate not only me but everybody else, what is there in an electronic device that they're actually smelling?
The chemical is called TPPO. It's part of the off-gassing when they're manufacturing the hard drives and stuff. That you can't remove it. You can't do it. It's just part of the manufacturing process. But it has this distinct odor, and and everything has it prior to 20. I think I have to look it back. I think 2001 maybe is when it started. So it's pretty much every electronic device we've got. Much, is going to have TPPO on it.
Dang! And now they've done somehow, some way, learned to teach a dog exactly how to smell that.
Yeah, they're just pulling that odor, and they're just training with it. So then, you know that. That's how Jared, the Subway guy, got busted, was with the electronic storage device dog. He was hiding. Wow. Yeah, he was hiding his USBs in like wall outlets. Yep. The dog went past and sat on the wall outlet, and they took a screwdriver and pulled it off, and there was the kitty porn.
Oh God. There was the kitty porn.
Yeah.
What, I just thought of something. How often have you seen different things that dogs have smelled that may surprise you and still be able to train to do something? Like they're specific, like this is going to be my smell dog. Have you had any that somehow still turned into be like a pursuit bite dog? Or at that point, are they're totally locked in kind of what they're trained to do?
I mean, like these dogs are so vetted, and especially like when you get into the dual purpose world where the dogs are
smelling and
apprehension. Yeah, like both the patrol dogs that I had were apprehension dogs, and those little dudes from the time they were puppies, they had people teaching them how to bite and hold. And so when they came from Europe over into Mississippi, they actually went to Houston first, but then they got to Mississippi. Like, they didn't even know how to sit. They didn't know how to lay down. They didn't know how to walk on a leash, but they knew how to bite.
Yeah. What and maybe a dumb question, but I'm sure somebody's out there thinking about it but when you think of a dog, you would think their natural instinct would be to chase and bite somebody. So how would it be why is it like not almost every canine dog why are they not all dual purpose dogs?
I mean, it's going to depend it's back to that temperament and confidence and resiliency. I think it's more so every dog, would chase and bite, but most dogs are not going to chase you down and bite you. Mm-hmm. Like my poodle Philippe, the electronics dog, he would not ever bite you or chase you down. It's just not an inherent thing for a dog to do. It's prey drive is what makes them want to chase and bite. So a dog that has a high prey drive is going to have the propensity to do it. But not all dogs are created equal with that. Very true.
That's what a lot of people, they want the Belgian Malinois if they're such, awesome animals. And I'm one of the first ones to tell them, just because I've had a couple of buddies. I'm like, I hope you know that's not a family dog.
No.
That is not a dog. It's not going to be very happy just chilling at home and hanging out with you and your kids and going in the backyard every now and then to pee. It can be.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be.
But
stereotypically,
absolutely,
that's not what I would go buy to have a family dog.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same for border collies, Australian shepherds, blue heelers. These are all dogs that we see all day long down at the Dog School New Orleans, because it's all these working line dogs that people bought and put in an apartment, and now it's blowed their apartment up, and it's the dog's fault. No, it's almost always the owner's fault.
Yeah, I say a lot of people, and especially in Mississippi, like, why would you ever buy a
husky?
Man, yes, exactly. You already know what I was talking about. Why would you live in Mississippi? Why would you buy a husky? And then, God forbid, you bought them to be an outside dog. Uh-huh. Like, do you want these dogs to die? I could not imagine all that hair.
Yeah.
And then they live outside all day in the summer heat in Mississippi.
Well, and they're super temperamental. Like, the huskies are not my favorite. I mean, they're cool.
I've been around one or two my buddies had. I didn't really like them.
Yeah. I've got puncture marks all over my hands from huskies.
Yeah, they're super hyper. I wouldn't say aggressive, just super
temperamental. They hold a grudge.
Well, they're very vocal. It's almost funny.
I had to carry a husky out of Home Depot one time. I was dog training with him, and he just decided he was done for the day. And there was no walking him on a leash or anything. Like, literally just dragging him. So I just picked him up, and we walked out of Home Depot. It's ridiculous.
Man, I don't know if it's normal. You can tell him I have a German Shepherd, and he is the most vocal dog I've ever had my entire life.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nobody warned me about that. It's like he tries to talk to me all day.
Yeah.
He'll be outside whining if I'm like not. And because like I said, first few months, it was literally just me and him all day, every day. So we had that super bond.
Yeah.
And now he's like up my butt 24/7. But like he wants like constant attention. I'll play with him a minute, and I'm like, all right, man, chill.
It's called separation anxiety.
Yeah, and then he'll start crying. I'm like, all right, let's go outside. Let's stretch your legs. Let you get worn out a little bit. But before we get too far ahead or continue on, is there anything more about your nonprofit or Warrior's Heart that you wanted to hit on?
I just learned about Warrior's Heart, through working with them, but it's a super great organization. I mean, not only is it for veterans, it's for first responders, so if it's somebody in law enforcement, a firefighter, somebody like that, and they're having a tough time, Warrior's Heart can help them. It's not just our military folks. So anybody listening that is going through something, it doesn't hurt to talk to them. They got like a 600-acre facility in Virginia with
you telling me that.
All kinds of stuff going on up there. They got another facility in Texas. So if you haven't thought about it, it wouldn't be a horrible thing to talk to them.
What do they do? Let's just say somehow, some way, hypothetically, I was to get involved with them as a veteran looking for a service dog. Do I go up there and meet the dog and they run me through like a very, very basic, hey, this is your dog, these are the basic commands, blah, 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 or do they ship the dog to me? Or
I haven't specifically seen them do it yet, just because we're only on our second dog.
You're still new.
And they're in training right now. But I would venture to say it's going to be a pretty intimate process. So you're going to have to go up there.
I would assume.
There's no way that they're just shipping you a dog like Amazon.
Yeah,
you know, because you got to know what tasks the dog can do. Y'all got to be able to work together. You know, because this dog's going to be able to go with you everywhere. So you're going to have a pretty thorough understanding of the dog's limitations and what it can do.
That's what I want. It sounds so basic, but I want my dog to be able to walk everywhere with me with no leash.
Yeah.
And number one, do what I say. Yeah. Number two, not be crazy. God forbid another dog walks in.
Yeah.
But I'll see the videos on social media, a guy training a dog, and he just I think like the last task he does is takes him to Lowe's and just walks around up and down Lowe's with the dog just right by his side the whole way. And that's kind of like their graduate last thing they do. And I was like, I want my dog to be able to go with me to Lowe's and walk right next to me and be chill.
Lowe's and Home Depot it's the gauntlet for dog training just because there's so much stuff going on in there.
Yeah, so many people.
So many smells.
Yeah.
It's just so much. There's so many things up in there that if your dog can navigate at Home Depot, you're ahead of the gate.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think? What we said, looking to the future, which is always kind of scary when you own your own business, because in your mind you have these big hopes and dreams, but then of course sometimes you gotta bring yourself back down. On one hand, be realistic, but then also I've realized as well, sometimes you got to take a step back to see how far you've come and appreciate it. So saying all of that, what would you say 5-10 years from now?
I'd love for Canine Comrades to be a total pipeline for Warrior's Heart and other organizations that would like to be involved. And I just pull shelter dogs all day and do temperament tests with them and evaluate them, make sure that they're ready to go. And then once they're ready to go, send them to Warrior's Heart or whoever else to be service dogs or emotional support, therapy, whatever. I think that would be the greatest thing for me, just because I get to pull shelter dogs and give them purpose with veterans and first responders. To me, that's a win-win all the way around. Yeah,
that's amazing. That's what a lot of people, the first thing they think of when you even mention PTSD or it comes up, like a lot of people immediately like, oh, I never joined the military, I never deployed or nothing like that, or man, I'm not a policeman, I ain't never seen no shootout or anything crazy. Yeah. And I hear those people all the time randomly. I said, man, you can have PTSD from getting in a car wreck. You can definitely have PTSD from a very toxic, hostile relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Yeah. Growing up, you could have a terrible family home growing up, and now you have PTSD, and now that affects you in your relationships. You don't even realize it's from that. So a lot of people think PTSD, oh well, that's only for veterans and police officers that have seen some stuff. They don't realize a service dog is for everybody.
Those invisible wounds are everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I tell a lot of people. Especially hear it all the time. But one day you'll hear it when you get disability someday from the military. They're like, man, what's wrong? Ain't nothing wrong with you. Yeah. I said, man, I may look fine. My neck and lower back are destroyed. Yeah. And I always got stuff going on up here that I used to not have going on up here. Like, absolutely. So like you said, like just because I look fine, I think I do anyways. Yeah. It doesn't mean that I am. The MRIs that I just had recently showed differently. I'm like, you can't see that. And you definitely can't see the anxiety because I've been there before and I've talked to them, and it can get so bad you don't even want to leave the house. Oh, yeah. And imagine if you had a service dog that can sense you're going through that, that struggle and tightening up. And that, number one, they could help you at that moment, but also get you out of the house. Yeah. That's another terrible thing you see in the first responder, veteran, PTSD world, whatever you want to call it, self-isolation. Well, yeah, and then a good thing to think about too, if you're a veteran or first responder, or you're just whoever, and you are struggling with anxiety, but I can tell you from just being a civilian dog trainer that how many times I've had to put on my therapist hat with people because they were total shut-ins and their dog was acting out. It needed exercise. It needed stimulation. So these people had to break out of their routine, of almost like a depression-like routine where they went to work and came home. They went to work and came home. That was it. Well, now this dog's got to be walked in the morning and in the afternoon. It has to be, or it's going to tear your house to pieces. Yeah. Yeah. So now I'm forcing these people to get out and breathe some fresh air and move around. And get some sunlight. Yeah. And also people we get a lot of, I call it hard dog, soft owner. So it's a dog that's bratty and pushy, and then an owner that's passive and calm and shy. Oh, my sweet baby. Exactly. While the dog's trying to rip their pant leg. So with that you get to empower people, hey, make that dog listen to you. Like stop being such a pushover with this dog. And so then I just always say I'm putting my therapist hat on because I'm helping people dig a little deeper within themselves. But the point of that was if there's somebody that's struggling, they see themselves getting in that depression routine, the self-isolation,
even if you just go grab a dog from the shelter, I promise you, you walk up to the shelter and tell them you want to borrow a dog for the day, they'll be more than happy to give it to you. And you go out to a park with them and walk and play fetch or do whatever, do the things with the dog, it's going to make your day better than if you were to sit in the house and watch Netflix.
Yes.
You know?
What that kind of builds off this. What if somebody likes your story, which I hope they do in this podcast, and they want to follow you and what your business and your nonprofit is doing? Where, maybe possibly even, I don't know if you have it set up yet or not, like if they want to be a sponsor, do a sponsorship for your company or make a donation, where would they go? So
we can't accept donations right now. We're not.
Not yet.
Not yet. But just follow the Dog School New Orleans or the dogschool.net. They both feed off each other. That's my big business in New Orleans. And then all my other businesses kind of filter through that. So any Canine Comrade updates or Pocket Kennel updates, whatever, they'll all come from Dog School New Orleans.
Have you ever thought about opening or reopening a Dog School Memphis?
So
having another location?
Well, maybe one day. We'll see what shakes out. I got plans, I think, but don't count me out yet. We'll see.
No. Have you ever thought maybe not Memphis, but maybe another place, having two in Louisiana? That way they're maybe a little more accessible. Yeah,
we've thought about Gonzales or Oxford or Gulfport. Just somewhere else that needed a good dog trainer. But we'll see. I'm trying to focus on the Canine Comrade right now.
Yeah. You can't. I've seen some people too. I got a buddy of mine. Shout out to Jeff Hobbs. I had a pop-up shop there Saturday, actually. He's got like 5 businesses. I don't know how he does it. I'm like, how? And because I think of me, I'm like, all right, I got a full-time job.
Yeah.
Then I got my business, which money-wise isn't a full-time job yet, but time-wise it is. So like I'm doing,
it'll balance out.
Two people, two careers basically into one. And I had to find the perfect job to help me still be able to have time to run my stuff.
Yep.
I didn't even try to just think, what if I had another one? And I'm like, man, I can't do it. I'm like, so this guy's got 5.
Don't spread yourself too thin.
That's what my dad's warming. He's owned his own company for 40 years, plumbing. And he's told me a couple of times, Drew, just take a step back and see what all you've done in just the 6 months you've officially had a business and how far you've come. And sometimes you don't realize it when you're in it, because in your brain, I'm sure you're a lot like me. You're like, what more can I do? I'm not doing enough.
It's not.
Like, what about this? Yep. What about that? What about this? And you drive yourself crazy with all these ideas.
Yeah. I got to remind myself, you started working on this in February. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, calm down. You're in July. Chill.
I know. It's like, what do they say? Don't race to the finish line. Enjoy the time it takes to get there.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you blew up overnight, or God forbid, you opened in February and in April some giant contract came through and you made it, it's almost like you wouldn't truly appreciate the grind it took to get there.
Exactly.
Because but then in life, sometimes you never know. It's just right place at the right time.
Yeah.
One post on social media hits the right person. Mm-hmm. It's crazy how social media works nowadays.
There is some truth to going through the grind to appreciate what you have, though. I think that it wouldn't be as sweet if there wasn't some sour,
Yeah.
So.
Hopefully it's just more sweet, though.
We'll
Hopefully it's sweeter than it is sour. Just some random rapid fire questions. What is the favorite dog you've ever trained?
Well, that would have to be Philippe, my standard poodle, because they're literally that dude is like half human. Like, if he had thumbs, he'd be dangerous.
Oh God. What would you say your favorite breed of dog is? Which is probably a tough one. You've been around all of them.
Yeah, I've got not favorite breeds.
I bet that's easy.
No,
that's probably an easier list to make out.
My favorite breed of dog is a well-trained dog.
That comes back to what we were talking about earlier. It depends on what the purpose of the dog is. Exactly. It's hard to just say, well,
yeah.
So-and-so, like I grew up loving boxers my whole life. So I'm like, boxers is typically some of my favorite dogs I've ever had, but I always wanted a German Shepherd. So now I have a German Shepherd.
Yeah. Like I have this sweet pit bull named Teddy that he stays at my house. His owner's deployed. He's a Marine. And so he's been at my house for like a year. And if I'm walking around New Orleans at 3:00 in the morning, Teddy's my favorite breed.
I bet.
If I'm doing detection, Philippe's my favorite breed. If I'm having a bad day, Daisy, my sweet little therapy dog's my favorite breed. So, they all have different uses.
What would you say throughout your military law enforcement career, and now you're restarting the military career, going to be an officer in the Louisiana National Guard? What would you say is one of the hardest lessons you've ever learned? Not
to quit.
Very true.
Your mind is the weakest part of your body. It's the truth. I know they told you that at basic, that your mind's the weakest part of your body. It's 100% the truth. If you just keep going, you'll be surprised how much you get done.
I love that.
it's super simple, but it's true. A lot of people had really great intentions on whatever their business plan was or whatever their goal was, but they just didn't have the stamina to keep going. You don't have to achieve the goal in one day. Like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, but you got to chip at it every day.
Yeah.
Like when I start a business or I start an idea, I tell myself I'm sending 5 emails every day. 5. And granted, some days I'll send 20, some days I'll send 5. It depends on how much, oomph I got that day. But I have to send 5 a day.
Dang. So. That's good. What would you say your biggest leadership lesson you've learned throughout all your career and life experiences?
Delegate and trust your people.
Delegate. I can't wait to get to that point.
Yeah.
That's what somebody just asked me the other day. They said, man, all these booths you go to set up is, man, you don't have nobody to do it for you.
You'll get there. Yeah. I'm telling you.
I was like, man, number one, I'm the face, not only the face of the company, I am the company. So I was like, it would be weird at this point to have somebody in my place at a booth.
Yeah. You'll find somebody randomly that'll come up and they'll be exactly what you needed and a helper. And
the Lord will send the right person
absolutely.
At the right time.
I had one when I first got going with Dog School New Orleans. His name was Jordan, and he had moved off. He's got a wife, and she got some great job opportunity in Illinois. That he'd be an idiot not to go do that, and so they went and did that. But every day I hope that they hate Illinois and they come back.
Talk about a big difference.
Oh yeah, but then Victoria showed up, and she's great, and she's helpful, and she lets me be able to do this kind of stuff. So you got to delegate, but also you got to trust your people.
What would you say if you could change one thing for veterans? What would it be?
Probably the stigma on them actually getting help, or like them thinking that, like we were talking about earlier, like I don't really need that. I don't actually have PTSD or something. Like it's much more common than you think, especially in today's age. And I think that it's a lot easier to get help, but it's harder to ask for it, if that makes sense. Yeah,
I hear it on a daily basis. Man, I don't think I got PTSD. I'm like, oh well, I can probably guarantee you got some anxiety. And they're like, well. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I probably do have some anxiety. I'm like, well, I know no one likes to admit it, but you probably got a little depression here and there as well.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe. I'm like, well, number one, the VA sees all 3 of them as the same because all their conditions and symptoms overlap. So you're going to only get 1 rating per mental health. I was like, why would you not claim all 3? Because I guarantee if you know you have anxiety, you're a little slow to admit, but deep down you probably do have some depression. I guarantee all of that stems from, or it gets worse from PTSD. Well, some people just don't want the stigma. Oh, no, I don't have PTSD.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you're one of those, because I mean, I'm the same way. I don't want somebody to say I got PTSD or something, but there's ways to, I don't want to say self-medicate because that's a bad word.
Yes.
But if you go grab a dog from the shelter and hang out with it for the day, that's self-medicating. It's just, in
a good way.
It's just not in a bad way. Exactly. You don't have to be prescribed all this crap to say you're getting treatment. There's other things you can do to get treatment for stuff like that. And
I've seen all your videos. If y'all don't follow Brooke on any social media, she's a CrossFit badass. I've tried CrossFit a few times. I loved it. It wasn't the do all be all for me. Like some people it is. Some people, they can just do CrossFit and they'll make great gains and they'll look great.
Yeah.
I'm just more of a traditional weightlifting type guy. So I always thought it'd be great to do that for a couple of days and then do my regular weightlifting. But then it's kind of hard to balance both because once you get in the CrossFit world, it's like you just want to come back and do it every day.
See, I don't have the motivation to. I'm so like drained in every other aspect of life.
Oh, God.
Like trying to run all these businesses. It's like I can't like create a workout routine and like go into a gym and like stand in there and today's leg day and do leg day. But I can go to CrossFit and have somebody yell at me for an hour.
Yeah, that is the great part. It's all class based. There's a coach there walking you through every exercise.
Yep. So.
It's still going to suck.
Yeah.
But at least you're sucking with everyone else that's in the class with you.
Exactly. Yep.
And there'll always be them 1 or 2 that are really good at it. But for the most part, it's all your normal people there just trying to get fit.
Yeah. And most of those CrossFit gyms, like every one I've ever been to anyways, is they're more than happy to scale workouts for you or do this instead of that if you're injured here or there or whatever. So like it might look intimidating, but it's not. Like it's as bad as you make it.
Oh, before I do the closing, is there anything, just make sure we didn't leave anything out, anything you want to add? What social media are you on?
Mainly Facebook, the Dog School New Orleans or Brooke Defore. That's the big 2 right now.
Dog School New Orleans. And your nonprofit is?
Canine Comrades.
Canine Comrades. And you do work with what? With who?
Warrior's Heart.
Warrior's Heart. And I guess eventually, veterans will be able to look into them and find ways to work with them to get dogs.
Oh, they can contact Warrior's Heart today.
And get set up in the pipeline. Because like you said, it's not going to be an overnight process.
Yep. They're working on, getting it set up where they can take mass amounts of dogs. I'm getting where I'm set up where I can send mass amounts of dogs. It's all in the works, but they can go ahead and get on the list.
Yeah, it's never too late.
Yeah.
Don't wait until it's. Some people are like, well, I'm fine now. I don't think I'm bad enough to get a dog or get medicine or get counseling. Well, when you're at the point when you're like, I need counseling.
Yeah.
You probably should have had it several months prior, if not years.
Well, and then also like that feeling that you have where the hopeless feeling or for me, it's like almost like you're drowning or something. That feeling of just desperation that you get sometimes, like, you don't have to always have that feeling. Like the dogs that are in the shelter right now, how do you think they feel? They're sad and alone and scared and unsure of what's going on. But then the crazy blonde-headed lady walks in and pulls them out and takes them and makes them a service dog, and then they live the best life ever. So the veterans could be like that too, where they're at a point of desperation, they meet a dog, and it totally changes their life. So you save 2 lives. Exactly.
And I love the whole part of repurposing.
Oh, yeah.
You can get a dog, society or whoever their owner, whatever, gave up on them. And even if they may not be a true working dog smelling this or doing that, they can still be sent over here and totally repurposed. And like you said, maybe even to the extent, I hate to go to the extreme, but to the extent of even maybe saving somebody's life.
Absolutely.
And it all started in New Orleans, and Brooke found them at a shelter.
Really quick, I got a super cool story. So Daisy, a black lab I got her in West Memphis, Arkansas. Her owner tied her to a pole, and somebody, like the owner, brought her to the vet, but she was like 38 pounds when she came in, super malnourished, super bad shape. She'd eaten a golf ball, and so she had an obstruction in her stomach. Owner couldn't pay for the surgery, so he just surrendered the dog to the vet. That's where West Memphis came in and took the dog. Got the surgery. Got her up doing everything, looking great. I adopted her to make her a detection dog. She did not work out as a detection dog because she just loves you. She doesn't care about tennis or playing with the ball. She'll play with you with a ball, but she just wants to love you. So guess what? That's a therapy dog.
Yes.
Daisy is fixing to be the best therapy dog in the whole world,
That's how my dog is. I thought he'd be the perfect playing fetch, man. He'll look at it and may even run over, and then he's going to smell it, but he's too worried about what I'm doing. Then he's looking up for me and running back to me, and I'm like, man, how do you not even learn how to play fetch? But like you just said, he's more worried about me and what I'm doing and wanting to be on my butt 24/7.
But I just love the story because it's like Daisy goes from tied to a pole in West Memphis, Arkansas, to now she's going to go to Warrior's Heart and be a therapy dog for all these veterans, and she's just going to walk around all day and just get loved on. Yeah, like that's like heaven for Daisy. That's
what, man, and. Who knows what telling or where that dog would be today if you wouldn't have showed up. Yeah. And then, or heaven forbid, you were just an organization that was strictly looking for working dogs. And that dog don't make it, back to where it came from.
Yeah. No, we repurpose them.
I think that's the coolest part of the stories. Like I said, just because your service ended or whatever, your job, and it don't even have to be military or law enforcement. You can get sucked into an office job and you'd be there 10 years and all of a sudden, new ownership, whatever, and you get laid off or something happens and they're like, what do I do now? Yep. I'm like, so just because your time of whatever you're doing ended doesn't mean your purpose ends. Yep. You just need to refine something and get yourself fired up. And I said, what they say, if you love what you're doing, it's like you're not even going to work.
Exactly.
Well, man, Brooke, I thank you for sharing your story. What stands out to me isn't just everything you've accomplished, it's how every chapter of your life seemed to get you ready for the next chapter. Like we keep saying, like, one thing's over, boom, another one. Then you found another purpose. And hey, you had your hopes up for this one. Also, not, it didn't really work out. It didn't turn out to be exactly how you wanted it. You had a couple weeks there of chilling. Like I used to always say, man, you get 1 or 2 days of being upset, Drew, and then it's time to snap out of it and make a plan and fix this. And that seems like what you've done continuously throughout your life and career. And I love that. I appreciate you coming on the show. Everyone listening, if today's episode inspired you, I encourage you to learn more about Canine Comrades, support their mission if you're able, and share this episode with someone who believes in giving both people and animals a second chance. As always, if you're a veteran looking for guidance navigating the VA system or your benefits, this is exactly why I started The Veteran's Veteran. Until next time, remember this, the mission doesn't end when military service does. Sometimes it just takes 4 paws to help you find your next one. We'll see you on the next episode.
See ya.